Are you following me? Froslass, an Ice and Ghost type Pokemon from Generation 4, has now gotten a brand new Mega Evolution in Pokemon Legends ZA. And listen man, have you ever seen a design and concept so good you wanted to marry it? Well, good news because you can, I guess, maybe. So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Froslass. I did a pretty big and cool video a few years ago about it, and while I won't retread that entire video, let me at least tell you what happened. So in Pokemon Legends Arceus, a game taking place about 200 years in the past, one of these side missions we can take up is investigating a village that used to be in the Alabaster Icelands. We find a lot of old journal entries of a story that took place even longer ago, and piecing everything together, basically what happened is that, on a cold night, a traveler met a woman whom he fell in love with and later had children with, but then it turned out the woman was actually a Froslass who then left him. Like I said, watch the video at some point for the full story, but basically this was a beat-for-beat recreation of the story of a Yuki-onna. And a Yuki-onna is a yokai from Japanese mythology on which Froslass is based. You could always sort of see the similarities in terms of Froslass's design, with how its body kind of looks like a dress and there's even like a ribbon around the waist. While not necessarily as human-shaped as other Pokemon, you could sort of get the idea. And previous Pokédex entries tell us that legends in snowy regions say that a woman who was lost in an icy mountain was reborn as a Froslass. This being a ghost-type Pokemon, of course there's some sort of connection of like, ooh, it used to be a human, which I wouldn't necessarily say is the case for every Froslass, but at the very least we know that this is a pretty intelligent Pokemon that is able to cast illusions or disguise itself in some way, very similar to other ghost-type Pokemon that we've seen before. And yes, it is canon in the world of Pokemon Legends Arceus that at least one person did marry a Froslass. So do with that information what you will. Though even with Froslass's inspiration being worn on its sleeve, it wasn't until very recently that we actually started to see it building relationships with humans. So of course take that whole side quest in Legends Arceus as the beginning of the modern era, but even in small things like how it was depicted in the Pokédex image in Scarlet and Violet, shown following a human close by, and then also in the beautiful illustration rare card in Twilight Masquerade, where we see one entering a cabin on a snowy night. This scene here meant to reflect the story that happened in Old Hisui. And now with another mission in Pokemon Legends ZA, dude, this is like the one Pokemon that is actually coming on to us. But that makes sense, then again this is a game with Chikorita in it. So as part of the story in Legends ZA, we had to periodically battle against rogue Mega Pokemon. And at one point during the Jacinth event, the 3 Pokemon we had to battle are all ones that are associated with beauty, which I think is a really fun idea thematically and one that I don't necessarily see brought up all that often. However, one of the Pokemon we battle is the brand new Mega Froslass. And yeah, it is a really cool battle and I love its design, it being a really tall Pokemon and much more anthropomorphized, but it is done in a way that makes sense more so for this Pokemon as opposed to others. Again, with Froslass, the whole human connection was probably the most important part, whether legends tell about it originally being a human, or whether it can disguise itself as a human or become a human in some sense, and then interact with them on their level. So going from one that has an amorphous shape to one that has more human proportions, or at the very least basically looks like a woman wearing a dress, is actually just the perfect idea. In all honesty, I might say this is one of my favorite Mega Evolutions just because of the connection I had with this Pokemon in videos that I made in the past, and because it is a really neat way of everything coming together for the inspiration of this Pokemon. But also it is really crazy that even aside from the Rogue Mega form, this is just actually a big Pokemon by itself. Yes, even the normal version is really tall. Me personally, I've been using an Alpha Froslass, which is already really big, so that when it Mega Evolves I can't even see it on the screen because it's a giant woman. So anyway, back to what I was saying about the Rogue battle. After you defeat this Froslass, you continue on with the story, but it does open up a side quest in this area of Lumio City, where it feels like somebody is watching us. And it turns out that it was the very same Froslass that we met before, being all cute and everything, peeking out at us from behind a tree, and wanting to lead us somewhere. So I go ahead and follow the Froslass, taking a nice walk in the middle of the day, and it actually does lead you on a pretty decent little chase, even bringing you back up to the rooftops, until eventually you're at the very place that you originally battled it. And this is where it really just wants to thank you for helping it calm down after all the Mega Evolution energy caused it to lose control, and you are awarded with a Dawnstone, the item that you need to evolve a Snorunt into Froslass. So yeah, not really a huge epic story for a side quest, but I really do like that it is a neat way of having one of the Pokemon you battled show up again, rather than just like giving it to you, and developing a little bit more of a personality for this Pokemon that has had a lot of interesting depictions in media as of late. Okay, I know this video is already coming out a bit later than usual, but I cannot believe I forgot to include the brand new Pokédex entry that we got for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which again sort of goes along with everything else we've been getting in this generation. But yeah, the Pokédex entry says that it just freezes humans it likes and keeps them in its cave. Like what? This one a bit more scary and tragic and on the level of Lucamine. But you know, maybe in her own messed up way, this is how she shows her appreciation. Honestly, I would much rather the Dawnstone, or maybe even the marriage, you know, if you're free. And on top of that, yeah, like I said, I think that this was a Mega Evolution that really works out, and is one for a Pokemon that I think is really deserving. Though the Pokédex entry doesn't really give us any further details about potential lore, most of the Mega Evolution Pokédex entries are stuff about how dangerous or powerful it is, but the design alone was really important to further connect everything to its original inspiration. So let me know what you think about Froslass and its new Mega Evolution, and this whole event in Pokemon Legends ZA. If you have any funny ideas, connections, stories about Froslass as well, share those in the comments. And like I said, if you want to see the full story of the man who canonically married a Pokemon, that is all linked everywhere here and there. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my time in Lumio City with my brand new giant woman Pokemon. Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, including the Great Gators, Alex with Shiny Hunts, KoiKoi13, Cemetery Hill, Cheez-It62, GatorKid509, TF, Mathaclog947, Taijirai, Phantom, and Quago. If you'd like to support, see your name here, get access to emotes for comments, live streams, sometimes early videos, join a member's Discord, and listen to the podcast as it comes out, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky as well for more memes. Anyway, this is GatorX, and I will catch you all later.
神と呼ばれたポケモンを求めて任天堂 DS ポケットモンスターダイヤモンドとパール